Borrelia recurrentis. This is a last point from the Unit 3 Rickettsia and Spirochete. The Borrelia, in this diagram you can observe a thread-like elongated bacteria which are wavy and boring, means form a hole in a skin and enter into the host's body. Hence the name. The Borrelia cause the disease in two types, that is a endemic as well as epidemic. The structure, disease, reservoirs, vectors, pathology and its transmission, symptoms of diseases, treatment and prevention are included in this video. This Borrelia recurrentis is a species of Borrelia, a spirochete bacterium associated with relapsing fever. Relapsing fever means a recurring fever. The fever came and increases body temperature and again became normal. After a time span, it again recurs. Hence its name Borrelia recurrentis. It is a large motile retractile spirochete. It is usually transmitted from person to person by a human body louse. Since the 1800, the body louse has been known as its only vector. This bores and recurs the body temperature, hence called as a relapsing fever. In this diagram you can observe its structure. It is a longest bacteria and infect the human body. It multiplies inside the body louse. The electron microscopy has revealed the spirochetal cell with a pointed ends containing 8 to 10 periplasmic flagella. These flagella are endoplasmic and its length is about 0.2 to 0.5 μm. This is size, width is 0.2 and length is 0.5 to 30. In this way it is a longer. The average wavelength is of 1.8 pm and amplitude is of 0.8 pm. Because of flagella, this is motile bacteria which leads to greater spreading in the bloodstream of host. Contrary to most pathogenic bacteria, this bacteria is gram negative. It causes two types of relapsing fever. First one is epidemic or louse-borne relapsing fever. It transmitted through body lice, pediculus humanus, carporis. Second one is a endemic or tick-borne relapsing fever, that is transmitted through bite of ticks or through their discharge. The Borrelia recurrentis is unique among the relapsing fever Borrelii, being a human restricted pathogen transmitted by the body louse pediculus humanus. Crushing and infected louse introduces the Borrelia recurrentis organism into scratched skin. The prolonged excretion of Borrelia recurrentis in lice feces may enhance the transmission. The endemic fever is causing and its reservoir is only human body. But this bacteria requires vector, that is louse, and that type of fever is called as epidemic fever. Endemic relapsing fever has a vectors, that is soft shell ticks. Soft shell ticks mean that tick get infected, and when it bites to human, then it causes the infection. Their reservoirs are of many types, that is rodents, soft shell ticks, as well as small mammals like a rabbit or pet animals. The ticks are present on these pet animals. They can infect them as well as infect the human being, and that type of fever is called as endemic fever. This fever pathology shows the normally cause blood infection. These pyrocytes enter into blood and cause infection, but they can also infect the nervous system along with the other tissues. There are known virulence factors, but there are a few novel ways that this sneaky pathogen evades the host immune system. Means this pathogen cannot get killed by the immune system because it has a novel character in its body. The body has its way of recognizing and enhancing the recognition of foreign invaders called opsonization, which targets them for destruction through a cascade of reaction known as the complement system. Recent studies shows that Borrelia recurrentis expresses a multifunctional surface lipoprotein. It is termed as a HCPA that exploits the host's proteins and offers resistance to complement attack and opsonization while increasing the potential to invade the host tissue. That is, its potential of infection to other tissues get increased due to this avoidance of opsonization. Its transmission shows two types, that is louse-borne and tick-borne. Louse-borne disease means these bacteria are present in infected person's blood. When louse bite to such an infected person, it gets infected. Then the multiplication of bacteria takes place inside the louse intestine, and such a louse which is infected cannot infect to other new host, but its infection after the scratches or crushing the louse takes place to that own person. Again it multiplies into human blood, then transported, it is a motile bacteria hence, as well as, and it can avoid the immune system, hence it enter into liver, lymph glands, spleen, brain, as well as it can infect new louse. Next type is tick-borne. Bacteria persist in a tick, in body of tick. The tick acts as reservoir as well as vector. Multiplication takes place in all body parts of tick and it infects after the tick bite or body discharges of tick can also infect the human being or the other vectors, and in this way tick-borne disease is there. The symptoms are as there are minor clinical differences between the louse-borne and tick-borne types of fevers. The onset is sudden with a high fever, headache, photophobia, myalgia, arthralgia, etc. Often there is an associated diffused erythematous muscular rash. Petechiae may occur. Red or purple colored patches may occur on skin. Unlike a rat bite fever, there is no arthritis. There may be prominent central nervous system effects such as lethargy, stupor, meningeal signs, and cranial neuropathy. After several days, the initial episode subsides dramatically with profuse sweating, hypothermia, and profound weakness. The clinical disease often recurs, although with decreasing duration of illness and longer intervals between the attacks. Means the name indicates recurrentis. Hence, this disease, the symptoms are recurs. These symptoms comparison can be done. It is seen in this slide. Louse-borne relapsing fever shows the infections, headache, joint pain, which is similar to both, but it has a dry cough. Red and purple spots on skin are appeared in louse-borne disease. In tick-borne disease, headache, joint pain is there, but muscle pain, chills, vomiting, abdominal pain are also present, and its treatment include tetracycline, erythromycin is most effective for treatment of relapsing fever. Doxycycline is usually recommended for children and pregnant women. This treatment is suitable and available for these fevers, and the prevention and control of this disease is also most important. Prevention with help of different methods, that is prevention of louse infiltration and the use of insecticides are the measures that prevent louse-borne relapsing fever. This is not only important, but prevention of tick-borne relapsing fever consists of wearing a protective clothing, use of insect repellents, and avoidance of the ticks and their natural habitats. In these diseases, prevention is possible by using these methods, and most important part is avoidance or eradication of these vectors is possible, but no vaccine is available for relapsing fever. Only one vaccine is there for a Lyme disease, but not for these Borrelia recurrentis or the relapsing fevers. Lyme disease has vaccine OSPA, but for relapsing fever vaccine is not there. Hence prevention and control with medical treatment is most important, and avoidance of such a places where possibility of infection is more, cleanliness as well as use of these insecticides is also helpful.